What is going on, everybody? Jumbo Thick here. We are back with more Emberfell Whispers from the Stars. Joining me as usual is the full cast and crew. Was not expecting the lovable Zune, but she had to pipe in. Had to get in here from vacation. So let's go ahead and get this rolling. Let's start with old Dan Decker.
It's me. Hey, everybody. It's me. It's your favorite Dan Decker here on the internet for your entertainment plan, Mo Braja. He is a bugbear. Mo Braja. He's a bugbear. He looks a lot like this right here. And he's 8 foot tall, but a 10-foot reach. You can put that on a business card and take it to the bank. He is also a crossbow expert, so he will drop you from about 400 foot. That's 100 foot more than a football field for you Johnny football guys out there. Yeah, we are about to get in the thick of it. I think we stepped into somebody's house whom thinks they own the place, and we're about to have to just correct some assumptions. I don't know. It's fine.
Sure, we'll see about that. Andrea? Maybe?
Hi. Live from the bathroom of a small motel room.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I am very excited to not die again, and
Yes.
Hopefully we are not murdered by demogorgons, but I think we can pull through on this. Because I think we can pull through, we probably won't really die.
Exactly. Pull through indeed. How about old Jumbo Smooth?
Hello, everyone. Jumbo Smooth, Rogar, Barbarian, Dragonborn, 7'5", 400 pounds. He got himself a new item last time he was out. Some ogre gauntlets that apparently start at the hands and move all the way up to the shoulders. Look real cool. Give him a strength of 19. He was a little bit weaker than Velree. Still a little bit weaker than Velree, but now he's closer now.
Indeed. How about old Doobie 209?
Oh, yes, Tristan Varel, ready to fight a beholder. So
ready to fight the beholder. Who said Morculus is beholder?
the
Nobody said
beholder.
it.
It's only obvious.
It's obvious. Indeed, it's so obvious. Last but not least, then, Kayla, all dressed up this time. I'm loving it.
Here, I play the role of Velree, and I am a barbarian damn pure. I have magical claws. Yeah, pretty much usually kick ass, but we'll see what happens tonight. We'll see what happens.
Indeed. And so, let's go ahead and just jump right in, because I feel like we got a good session ahead of us. So, last we left off, the crew has, through a series of events, has found themselves deep within the Shrieking Forest on a quest, following some of Moog's interests at heart, and so being looking for a cure for the Red Death Plague that has been assaulting the nearby city of Brunwood for quite some time, as well as a possible solution for Moog's, let's just say, tethering to the dredger that he has been experiencing for quite some time. At the behest of Shaman Ono, the last tree tender in the Sacred Grove of Belus that you guys managed to find, you were directed towards the Crimson Seedbed and were guided here by the captain of the Ghost Walkers, with the task to find a pure sample of the root of the corruption. That was the task you were given. In the same vein, you managed to not only find the seedbed, which was turned out to be a massive metallic structure overgrown with strange vines and flowers, the corpse flowers that you've seen budding all over it. These thick, red, ropey tendrils most of them steeped in almost like blood-like material. Velree probably enjoys this place very much. After infiltrating the structure, discovering a little bit of its innards, you managed to, as you were delving into it, you managed to come across a few of the gardeners of the de facto ruler of this place, Morculus the Tyrant. A few of his more interesting orb-like followers that had lots of tendrils with mouths on them. You guys destroyed them after delving into a pit of sorts where Velree snuck down and retrieved a corpse that had some magical doodads on it that Moog enjoys. And as you slew the protectors, you discovered essentially like a prison chamber, a jail of sorts that was housing multiple cells, most of them full of like dried blood and strange growths, but 4 of them containing creatures that you identified as Githyanki eventually. 3 males and 1 female. You release them from their cage, and after an interaction between the party, mostly through Rogar, as the knight, which was the female, was able to speak Draconic and speak to Rogar, and through some interactions managed to, we'll say somewhat at least, convince them to join you, as they have goals themselves deeper within this structure. In the same chamber, you did find a stow of equipment lost here, possibly taking off the many many corpses that you found, as well as at least 1, if not multiple, relics of whoever were the masters of this structure previously. I believe Rogar's the one who got the gauntlets, and Velree, actually, you got the bracers, correct? Yeah. Okay. The bracers were inscribed with like eldritch runes across them, so they're interesting to say the least. All right. Velree, by the way, they as you put them on, they kind of like come together, and they somewhat pierce into your flesh a little bit. Not enough to like hurt a lot, but enough to notice it. They kind of like dig in a little bit, and they look like they might be stuck.
I'm okay with it.
So you're okay with it, yeah.
Draws a little blood, you know.
Yeah, draw a little bit. Yeah, exactly. But they can be concealed with clothing, like you could pull like a long sleeve over them or anything like that. But for all intents and purposes, you won't be able to wear like heavy armor. Not that you ever would, as long as you're wearing these bracers. Okay. But as you guys had finished a rest, Moog was assaulted by Morculus. As you were coming to, it seems that the tyrant himself has discovered the meddling intruders within his domain, and a spectral eye had opened up on the wall behind Moog and almost turned him to stone, had he not indomitably recovered, one might say, and was able to slug off the possible petrification that was taking over his body. After this, the Githyanki, the Astral Raiders, led the party in the direction that they believe the cargo hold is, which is where they believe Morculus is, and the map that they so seek. They believe Rogar believed that. Did they tell you? Yeah, they did. The map of Kadath is what they are looking for, is what they said. However, through a series of unfortunate stealth rolls, the party, as they were moving down the hall, one of these large, like 20 by 20 kind of circular hallways, overgrown with the kind of red death tendrils and roots and buds, you stumbled across, I believe it was actually 6 creatures. 5 of them were visible, 1 of them not so much. as I believe it was Moog and Rogar both failed. And as you were moving forward, the creatures appeared to be somewhat blind. Their eyes were glassy and glazed over, and they were kind of like scrounging around the outsides of the tunnel as you guys were moving through the center. With the Gith, surprisingly, despite their heavy armor, were able to move past them unhindered. I rolled extremely well for them. While unfortunately Rogar and Moog did not. And after one of the kind of tendrils kind of like made a crunching, snapping noise as you both stepped on it, one of the, what I'm calling stalkers, turned and its head opened up like a flower. They're about the size of a person. They're about like 6-7 feet tallish. And its head opened up, and it was almost like a flower petals with teeth on the inside and a gaping maw. And it shrieked, and that is where we are picking up. So I'm going to need everybody to go and roll me initiative. I'm going to go ahead and... Do you want me to roll your stuff, Zune? No? You can do it? Yes or no? Speak, damn you. Yes, I will do.
Yes, I roll.
Okay, cool. So all I need is Moog the Merciful, since he's changed his name to that, to roll his initiative roll. And then we will be in it. Boom. We're in. So, we are entering into combat. Unfortunately, nobody will be getting a surprise round this time. So we're straight in. Right off the bat. All of you are kind of sandwiched between these creatures. There's 3 of them on the left side, 2 of them on the right side. It's not going to really matter so much because shit's about to get crazy. The other one that was hidden actually sticks its head out of the ceiling up ahead towards where the knights are, as it apparently was scaling across the walls, as these things might be able to climb solid surfaces. And first in initiative order, Tristan Farrell, what would you like to do?
Gonna cast the old slow on him.
Okay, what level?
It's 3rd level.
Okay, so how many?
Only at 3rd level.
How many can you get?
I can get up to 6 in a 40-foot cube.
6 at 3rd level? This is bullshit.
3rd level spell.
Okay, this is bullshit.
God
damn it!
They can only be in a 40-foot cube, so I
That's
don't know
fine.
what the spacing is.
And I mean, you guys are all within close proximity. I'll give it to you. Wisdom saves, right?
Wisdom saves.
Let me go and roll these. DC's a 19. My God.
19.
Okay. Fail. They have a +1 to their wisdom save. They all fail because a 19 is insane. All right. So Trist, you open it up. You begin to fold space-time, and things begin to slow around the creatures. Would you like to do anything, Trist? Cannot hear you for some reason.
Sorry. I'll stay there.
Okay. All right. Trist uses his spatial magic. As he does, the warriors, seeing the creatures slowed, the 3 warriors in the front are... can they do that? They can. Is that a bonus action? It is. The first one is going to use a bonus action, and he is going to use his psionic abilities to fold time himself, and he appears next to the one on the ceiling in an instant, and he is going to take his attacks against it. I'm reading like 2 stat blocks at the same time here. AC's a 15. Okay. All right. He is going to make 2 attacks. That's definitely going to hit. And that's going to hit. So 2 hits from the first warrior. This is going to be a lot of damage. I need to add all this up. So that is... It's not resistant to any damage, is it? No, it's not. Okay. All right, so that's going to be 13 damage from the first strike. And an additional 20 damage from the second strike as the first warrior slices into the creature. He begins to fall away as it's a significant drop. I'll give him an athletics check, which he crushes. The second knight is going to do a similar maneuver, and he's going to make 2 attacks with his sword. First one misses, and the second one hits. That's going to be another 20 points of damage, and the creature is still like hanging there barely. It's like getting sliced to pieces. The last warrior is going to make another similar set of attacks against the creature. That's a miss and a hit. So 1 hit for an additional low roll. However, let me make sure here. Yeah, an additional 13 points of damage, which reduces the creature to 0. As the 3 knights, in an instant, all of them they phase out of movement, and they all appear in sequential order next to the creature, taking strikes at it as it's writhing around in the ceiling. And it falls from the ceiling and collapses to the ground as they all land on their feet next to it, and it appears to be dead. The knight, your good friend Rogar, your good friend Azamru, is going to she can only do that once a day. She will pivot on her heel, and she will make some attacks at one of the other remaining creatures, since there are 5 more standing. She kind of runs back and gives a kind of like a battle cry in their language. She's going to make 2 attacks. The first one is, she has a higher attack, doesn't she? She does. First one hits just because her attack roll is so high. And the second one is also going to hit. She does way more damage than them. Dear God. First strike is going to do +6. 31 points of damage. And the second strike is going to do 29 points of damage. Which in 2 sweeps of her large silvered greatsword that Rogar and probably some of the other of you were admiring when it was first kind of retrieved, just carves through second creature, and it collapses dead as well. There are 4 remaining, and it is now the creature's turns. At the beginning of the creature's turns, the creature that was cut down by the warriors begins to regenerate. Some of its sinew begins to knit together, and it recovers some hit points, and it stands. And the same thing happens to the one that was just cut down by Zamru. And the one by the warriors is going to make 3 attacks. It's going to make 2 attacks with its claws and 1 attack with its bite towards one of the warriors. They have a high AC, so there's a chance this might not hit. It's going to be a 14, which misses. A 18, which hits, so that's 1 hit. And a 15, which misses. So it does take He takes one swipe. One of the warriors isn't fast enough as the other ones begin to back away. And he's going to take 11 points of slashing damage as he retreats. He goes, ah! And he kind of pulls away. The other one that was just cut down will also spin on Zamru. And it's going to make 3 attacks. First one misses. The second one definitely hits. The third one misses.
Are they not under effective slow anymore?
Oh, you're
Like
right.
that?
I forgot. So it would only be the first attack. So technically, yeah, because your concentration doesn't break even when a creature is reduced to 0. So yeah, they'd still be slowed. So you're right. They actually none of those. So only the one attack would. Actually, none of the attacks would have hit. So I'm going to give him his hit points back then.
It still makes the save though.
Yeah, it'll make a. It's at the end of the turn though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll do that at the end. So the other 4 that didn't regenerate are going to enclose themselves on the party. We got 1 for Rogar, right here. It's going to make 3. It's going to make a single attack because it can't make more than 1. Lashes out with a claw for. Sorry, Rogar. For a 22 to hit, Rogar. I'm sorry. It hits.
Silvery barbs.
Silvery barbs, of course. Why not? Why not put insult and injury here? That is instead going to be a 15 Rogar, which misses.
Great.
That misses. Yeah, that misses.
Okay.
I like to throw the advantage onto Moog.
Onto Moog. All right. Speaking of Moog, here comes the next one, Moog. It's coming towards you. It can only make 1 attack. That's going to be
What is this? Shenanigans.
It's going to be a 13 to hit Moog, which misses.
It does miss.
They're all severely hindered right now by Trist. Speaking of Trist, here comes one towards Trist.
Did he bane them?
He slowed them, Moog. That's going to be a 13 to hit Trist.
That will.
There's no way that hits.
It will. Well, I think it won't if I shield it. I think it's a glancing blow, so I will shield it.
Do you not have mage armor? I thought you did now.
I didn't activate it when we took our rest. I didn't put it back on.
Would you like to have put it on? Because
okay,
it's
I'll put it back on. I forgot to put it on.
Just check your box. It's fine. It's a first level spell. It's fine. It's good for 8 hours. For God's sakes. So it missed, Trist.
It just misses.
And the last one is going to charge Velree. It kind of leaps from the ceiling, and they are moving at extreme, like they should be moving much quicker, and it's obvious. And that is a 9 to hit Velree. So they all miss. That will bring me then to Rogar. It is your turn.
Oh gosh. Rogar would like to line up as many as he can.
Okay.
And throw his javelin of lightning.
So I'll tell you what. The most you're going to be able to get is 3.
Okay.
Yeah. Because you're more towards the front. And so
okay, yeah.
the Gith ones are further ahead. And then you would be able to get at least 3 and then 2. And that would be if you moved away from the one that's attacking you and kind of moved up towards the one that was attacking Zamru. And you might be able to get them all in a line.
Okay. No, I'll take 3.
Sure.
Take 3.
All right.
Take 3.
Go ahead and give me an attack roll then.
All right. Ooh, that's bad. That's a 12. 12.
What's their AC reduced by? Just 2, right?
Yeah, it's reduced by 2.
It misses Rogar. It misses. barely misses, Rogar.
Damn. Okay. All right.
I believe
I
it's.
think
I
they-
believe the two in between still have to make a deck save though.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
They do.
So, which they have disadvantage right now because they're slowed.
This deck save isn't super high. It's Sorry, let me see here. 13.
Well, that's a fail. That would have been a natural 20. Instead, it's a 6. So both of them fail.
But it only has a -2 to the deck save. It's not.
Oh, it does?
disadvantage. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, the first one failed for sure, and that would have been like a 19 or something. So the second one passes. So go ahead and roll damage, though. One of them is going to take the full damage.
12 damage.
Okay. This one, I'll say the one that, if you moved up next to Zamru, the one that stood up will take the full damage. So it'll go back down. And then the one next to Trist will take half. So it'll take, was it 12 damage? So 6.
12,
take,
12.
Yeah, it'll take 6 damage. And then your javelin flies past the last one as it barely moves aside. The one that was attacking Moog, and it just kind of like whoosh, goes off into the distance.
Okay. Bonus action rage, and then I'll use my lightning gun.
On what?
On I guess one of the beasts, creatures.
Okay. Which one do you want to target?
I guess the one that's on Trist.
Okay. Go ahead and give me an attack roll then.
All right. A lot better. 25.
That hits.
Oh yeah. I forgot to say how many I was going to call. I was probably going to call like all 4, charges on that one.
Of course you were.
Yeah, I'm just saying, bro.
Yeah, of course you were. Go ahead and roll damage, for God's sake.
Let me roll 3d10.
It's more than 3 if you're calling 4 charges. It's a d10 per charge.
Yeah, I'm gonna do the 3 base d10, and then I'm gonna do the d10 plus 4.
Okay.
So this is part of it.
Or you could just roll 4d10 and then add 4 to it. It's fine.
That's true.
It's too late now. Look what you've done.
13 plus 10, 23.
23 points of lightning
23
damage.
total.
As you lance it
damage.
into the one
Yes.
that's attacking Trist, you kind of shoot and kind of like, stumbles away for a moment as it tries to slide, tries to attack him, and you fry it for a brief second. That could be it, Rogar.
All right. That will be it. My inspirations, or my inspiring presence, is going to go to Moog and Velree.
Okay.
So that's my rage.
Speaking of inspiring presence, Velree, it is your turn.
Yes. I'm just going. Well, which one's I'm going for the most hurt one first.
Okay, there's one next to you.
Oh yeah, it tried to attack me, didn't it?
It did.
Then I'll attack that one.
Okay. Go ahead and I'm assuming rage, and then you're going to attack.
Yeah.
So go ahead and roll for some attacks.
And it's +5 to the actual. Like.
That's for damage. Yeah. Not for the straight up attack.
Right. That's what I was trying to say. Natural 20.
That will definitely hit. Go ahead and roll them all, because there's a chance you might slay this one and then move on to the next one, because there's a lot of them still up.
I like it. When we get to it, I think I want to use the infectious fury on the natural 20. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Understandable.
Oh no, shit.
Another one?
Yeah.
Fuck. Okay. All right, we got 2 there. Go ahead and roll another one. Velree might be carving a bloody path here in a moment. I mean, it still hits.
20.
Believe me, it still hits. So go and roll your last one.
Okay.
20. Yeah. So they all hit. Let me pull a card for the first one, and it has to. Is it a wisdom save for the? It's a wisdom save. What's the DC?
Let me go back and find it. DC 15.
Unfortunately, I passed it with
No!
a dirty 20. I'm sorry, it happened. So it's no damage, right? It's just you just expend a use, basically. Sorry. You got 3 more. It happens. However, it's still a natural 20. Let me pull a card. Let's see here.
And I have that slasher critical hit.
Yeah, that's right. So it's called slow recovery. It's triple damage. So just go ahead and roll your damage, then we'll triple it.
All right.
And it needs to make a con save. The DC's 14. It passes. It has a decent con.
So it's 15, right? Times 3?
15. Yes. So 45 points of damage from this first hit, which just rips through it. And then you had your second one was a critical too, right? Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
Is it still standing?
Yes, it is still standing.
Bullshit.
I know. Second one is. Oh, this one isn't very good. It's just called Sweep the Leg. It has to make a dex save, which it
You
passes.
can pull another card if you want.
No. What that's it. This is. Oh wait, hold on. This is from the wrong deck.
Ah.
You're right. Let me pull it from your deck. I was like, that doesn't seem right. Brow slash, triple damage again.
Ah.
And it's blind for the next 5 rounds.
That's probably I'm going to survive a triple damage another one, is it?
Probably not, but let's see.
45 points.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't. As you slice through it, you slice through the head. You cleave in like deeply through as its mouth kind of opens up and then closes for a moment. And you just slice through it. One of the petals kind of flies off, and the creature collapses dead at your feet. The next one closest to you that's wounded is the one attacking Triss that has been like electrocuted multiple times. So do you want to direct your attacks towards it?
Yeah, see if I can finish it off.
Go ahead and roll damage for me then. These are just regular damage rolls.
Yeah. 15.
Can you roll something else besides 15 damage? Dear God.
I'll try and roll higher. I'll try.
Okay, yeah. Go ahead. You roll your next one. 16. That's enough to slay this one as well. As it hits the dirt, you slash through it, and then it as you like cleave through it, Velree's is covered in blood, and the creature falls down, and it doesn't appear to be moving.
Good.
All right, there are still 2 standing, and there is another one. So there's 3 standing. One of them is by the Githyanki warriors, and the other 2 are still assaulting Moog. And which other one was still up? Did I miss one in the attack rolls? I fucking missed one, didn't I? There's another one in there. Well, there's 2 of them next to the party on the other side. So we'll just go with that.
I'm going to go to whichever one. Is there one close to Zune?
Sure. We'll say that's the one I forgot to roll for.
Oh, dear. Well, I'm going to go stand in between Zune and that one.
Okay. Velvet kind of rolls over. Or not really rolls over. Kind of like scrambles over on like all fours like a spider. And ends up next to Zune, covered in blood. It's disgusting. Got it. Speaking of Zune, it is your turn, Zune.
My hero. Okay, let me minimize this meeting. How many are left standing? 3 or 4?
There's technically 3. There's one next to you. There's one next to Moog, which are close. And then there's a one further away next to the warriors.
Okay. Let me scroll through my spell list. I had to keep scrolling around which level to use, but if there are 3 standing, then I'm going to go ahead and use Bane at first level. They'll need to make a Charisma saving throw of 18, and they're all within 30 feet of me, right?
Charisma save. I can tell you right now, even if they roll a natural 20, they can't make the save. So
Okay.
they all fail.
Great.
Yeah. They have a -3
All right.
to their charisma. So they all fail. They're all banged.
Then I'm going to go ahead and also throw some Bardic Inspo onto whoever, I guess, who is currently engaged aside from the Githyanki.
You, Velree, and Moog.
Okay, I'm going to throw some Bardic Inspo onto Velree.
Okay.
And Moog, don't forget that you have that advantage still.
He does. Speaking of Moog, it's your turn, Moog.
It's finally my turn.
It is.
My
You're at the bottom of the
goodness
round. I'm sorry.
I wasn't sure if Velree was going to leave anything for Moog to do.
Yeah, let's see.
But I'm glad to be here with some advantage and a little bit of what is that? Inspiring presence. That gives me a what? +3.
You get a +2.
+2 sounds a lot like +3. You're right. So let me go ahead and you know how this is going to go. You know how this is going to go.
Let's go.
How close is the closest one?
I mean, it's in melee with you.
It's in melee with me, but that doesn't matter because I'm a crossbow expert.
It doesn't. You can still use it.
So I'm gonna go ahead. You know what's happening. We're gonna do a sharpshooter on this guy.
All right, let's go ahead and roll it.
With advantage. Sorry, let me roll.
Yeah, you can use your advantage. If you don't have to use it unless you want to.
Well, I'm gonna on this so I'll take the first one, for 24. -5 is a 19 to hit, but that's +2, so it's 21 to hit.
Yes, it hits.
Yeah, okay, that hits.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. All right. That's not so good. 16 points of piercing damage.
16 points of piercing damage. Solid hit. Go ahead and make your next attack.
It is. Okay, next attack. Also a sharpshooter.
Okay.
Let's see. So that's going to be a 19, a 16 to hit.
19 -5 is 14, my man.
+2 is 16.
It would be a 17 -5, which is 12, +2, which is 14.
What?
Do you want to leave it at 14, or do you want to?
No, I'm gonna drop a dice. I don't feel like a 14 is enough. But a 19 is.
That's enough to hit.
We're gonna do that. Come on, same 16 more piercing.
16 more piercing damage.
Yeah. But we will action surge.
Sure, why not? Let's do it.
Because we're just gonna be ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
I feel a little I gotta show off against Velree. Saw her go banana pants, and here we go, another sharpshooter. Yeah, we are definitely gonna put some more dice on that.
Right now it's 11.
Yeah, and that
Plus
makes
2.
it 13, which is not gonna hit.
13's a glancing blow right now because they're slowed.
Now we know. So 23 points of piercing damage.
23 reduced to 11.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
And the final shot.
Make the last shot.
From Rogue. Gonna be another sharpshooter shot. And so I'll just go ahead and take that. Yeah.
That hits.
Oh, finally we do some good here. 20 more points of piercing damage.
It's enough to finally put it down as Mo unloads 4 bolts into it. The carcass kind of flies away from you, kind of about 10 feet or so, kind of like it stumbles and looks like it's unmoving. Moog.
That's my round.
Okay.
Yeah.
Top of the round, Tristan Farrell. It's your turn.
2 left.
So interesting
like
thing.
The two that I can see standing, I guess, is the better term.
So let's put this in. I want to clarify this for you, Trist, specifically. You have a high enough passive like perception and investigation to realize that the 2 creatures were cut down previously, and they knitted themselves back together.
Yes.
No matter how much damage was dealt to them. So unless you can stop them from regenerating, they will continue to do so indefinitely. But as of right now, there is one standing by Zune that it looks unhurt, and there is another one by the warriors that looks like it is it's on its like last limbs. It looks very hurt, but it looks like it had regenerated a little bit of health.
Is it disadvantage to make a spell attack at something that's prone?
If you're making an attack against a carcass, I won't give you disadvantage. If that's what you're... Normally it is. But I'll say that like you can like walk over to like the one that died right next to you and just blast it. No problem.
Well, let's hope I can. But yeah, that's the initial plan. My initial plan was to firebolt, so that's what we're gonna do.
Okay.
Let's see if I can hit something though. My dice froze.
No.
Ooh, 29.
That definitely hits. You don't have to roll damage. It's just going to like die.
Good, because I only rolled 5.
It doesn't matter. You light it on fire, and you watch as it lights on fire. It looks like some of the sinew and some of the strange growths on its body, because it looked like it was budding with some of the flowers that you guys have seen. And they immediately ignite into a burst of flame. The creature rises on the ground despite being unmoving seconds before, and then just kind of like slumps, and its arms go limp, and it begins to like rapidly burn.
Yeah,
and this
grass
one looks dead.
Yeah, grass type Pokemon are vulnerable to fire Pokemon. So
is that going to be it, Trist?
Yes, that's my turn.
Okay. The warrior, the next warrior that was almost hit but then wasn't because of things, is going to try to cut down the monstrosity that got back up. That's gonna be a glancing blow. Can you take it down with a glancing blow though? It's not enough, so he's gonna make a second attack. He almost does though. Second attack is a hit, and so he actually carves it down this time, and he kind of like shouts something out in the gift language towards the rest of the party. None of you understand it. The gift look like they understand. The next warrior is going to he's going to reach over towards Trist. He kind of reaches out a hand, and as he does, a mote of the burning corpse is ripped free, comes off, and then floats towards him, and he dumps it on the body he just slew. And it will take 1 point of fire damage and ignites immediately, so 2 of them are down. The last warrior, there's 3 of them, the last one will do the same towards the one that is at the feet of his knight, the one that was standing by Rogar, and it will also ignite. The knight Zamru, so 3 of them have already been taken down. Zamru is going to look at the 2 remaining bodies on the ground, and then she looks towards the one standing, and she focuses for a moment, and the red gem on the diadem that she had put on her head, like a circlet, begins to glow, and then 3 bolts of fire erupt from it. The first one will, even at disadvantage, will hit. Second one will hit. Third one hits. So all 3 hit. So the two bodies on the ground ignite and burn. The third one is going to take... It's not a lot. It takes 6 points of fire damage. So all of them are actually on the ground burning right now. The last one gets ignited, and it begins to hiss and try to pat out the flames on its shoulder. But that's all that she can do. So it is now the stalker's turns, and the one that's on fire, its body can't regenerate right now, and so all it can do is make an attack. towards Velree, since Velree stepped in the way between it and Zune. And Velree, that is going to be a 16.
Nope.
That doesn't hit anymore.
Nope.
As its claws lance out, there's a slim, almost like psionic barrier across Velree's flesh that its fingertips can't pierce. As there may have been, it's almost like a miniaturized, like thin force field, kind of erupts from the bracers, and it cannot touch her. And that's all it can do. It'll make a wisdom save, which it can't pass. So it is still slowed. Oh, plus it had Bane. I forgot about Bane. It would have missed anyway. Doesn't matter. All right. That will then bring me to Rogar. There's one creature standing.
Rogar will take out his deep cleaver
Mm-hmm.
And try to make an attack.
Okay. You kind of run over across some of the smoldering corpses. Make some attack rolls, please.
Is this one just previously raised from the dead, or
No, all the ones
Healed
that
some.
hit the ground are currently dead now.
Okay.
This one is the only one left standing. It took fire damage, but its turn's passed.
Okay.
So it will regenerate next round if it doesn't take fire damage again.
Okay. Going to Great Weapon Master recklessly attack.
Okay.
That will be
It definitely hits.
okay.
Yeah.
All
It's a 13 AC right now.
right.
So 24
That will
points.
be 26
26
points
points.
of damage.
Oof. Rough hit.
One more time. Same thing. Great Weapon Master. Such.
Okay.
16.
That
So,
hits.
okay. 28 points of damage.
How would you like to do this, Rogar?
Well, I'd like to toss him on the fire.
Well, I was going to say thematically, you guys at this point
Okay.
know how to dispose of it. So however you want to do it, it's fine.
Okay, Rogar will take his deep cleaver and stick it through him, and then pull him up and drive him over towards the pile of bodies. Just stab it and kebab him onto the pile of bodies.
Okay.
And then he'll just disengage the deep cleaver as it disintegrates, and the body goes limp. So,
Well, yeah. You, as soon as the creatures, the last creature cries out as Rogar drives it into the flames, and everything looks like it is beginning to settle down. And we are out of combat much more quickly than I thought we would be. Yeah, indeed. I don't think anybody took any damage. And there was very minimal resources used. Awesome.
I think some of the
Awesome, guys.
warriors took some damage, maybe.
They didn't, because you corrected me that they
That's
were all
true.
slowed, so no one took any damage.
Rogar's gonna get his javelin of lightning. 1 second.
Yep. Rogar moves back, uproots it. It's kind of jammed into the the side of the tunnel where it kind of curved a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Rip it free. You come back. The Gith are kind of cleaning some of the blood off their swords. They're speaking to each other, and Zamru turns, and she kind of looks at. She looks towards Rogar, since you're the only one she can actually talk to. Well, that was an impressive display. Perhaps we move more quietly from here on.
Apologies. It was my fault. The nods.
Okay. She yells something, or kind of calls out towards the other individuals, and the warriors begin to move once again. I'm assuming all of you are following. So,
Yes.
as you continue to move forward, I need to pull up something else now because you guys just crushed that encounter. Crushed it.
Have you met us?
Let me make sure.
You act surprised, Anthony, is all I'm saying.
I know I shouldn't be surprised, should I? Let me make sure I got this. Here it is. Okay. So, as you guys begin to move forward, the warriors up ahead are scouting ahead. As they are scouting, they point out a few hazards that some of you may or may not miss. Trish, you probably would have seen some of the large growths that look like they've claimed the lives of individuals passing through here before. So you see like a corpse that's overgrown with vines, and it looks like it's coming out of the ceiling. Like there's just like a dangling hand. And they kind of point it out and they motion for you guys to take a berth around the kind of like a hatch that's kind of like a circular opening in the ceiling. And as you kind of pass around it, you do see that the corpse is just riddled with flowers and vines. And as you pass, it kind of slightly moves, kind of like up and down. And you avoid an obstacle easily enough. However, the next obstacle, not so much. As they begin to move forward, they all stop. Zamru actually calls out towards them in their language, and they freeze and they stop. And you see that there's a portion of this tunnel as it's kind of beginning to narrow, and then it looks like it's going to split off soon. You're almost to an intersection. And in this portion, there are flowers from floor to ceiling and the walls that look like they are open budding. And it looks like it's a 20 by 20 tunnel. And if for some reason maybe you could fly through the center about 20 feet or so, you could pass no problem. For some of you, that might be a thing. For some of you, this might be a difficult task. However, it will need to be done to progress any further. The warriors speak back, and Zamru kind of turns to the party. She speaks to you, Rogar. Those that cannot span this gap will have to stay here. You cannot risk your infection.
We do have antidotes if one must run through it, perhaps. I know that some of our companions here have the ability to traverse this, I assume.
Yes, ma'am.
How far?
This would be it's a 20-foot. It's a 20-foot span. So theoretically, if you were strong enough or had freakish abilities, you could jump it.
Or yeet someone through it.
You want to like throw someone through it? You could try. You could definitely try.
I'm going to suggest it to see if anyone wants me to.
Well, the warriors.
Dimension door.
You could do that. The warriors actually.
Why not just burn it?
Also,
that's an option if you want to try it.
Mm.
Do you have anything big enough to like just swath a path through here?
Fifth level chromatic orb.
Holy shit! Are you gonna 5th level?
No.
If you use a 5th level, I will allow it. If you're gonna burn a 5th level spell, you can easily carve like a fiery lance through the center.
No, I've only got a red dragonborn.
Oh, damn. That's harsh. That's harsh, man. That's harsh. However you guys want to do it, here's how the knights do it. Similar to what you've seen before, all of them, including Zamru, use their sonic abilities to fold space. And you've seen, Trist, you've seen this kind of ability possibly talked about with Old Man Trist. You know, there's various ways of bending time to your own as they step briefly, kind of like somewhat into the future for a moment. and all 4 of them pass easily enough to the other side.
They couldn't just grab us and take us with them?
The way the abilities work, they cannot take someone with them.
It's very rude.
How are the rest of you getting through?
Velree can jump it, right?
I could.
She probably could.
That'd be an athletics
I was thinking
Yes, it would be an athletics check.
I got good.
if Velree could jump it, then I think that Tristan and I could probably teleport Moog and Rogar.
You could do that?
If you guys want to, if Trist wants to burn that spell slot, and if Velree wants to risk jumping.
Did they say something about you couldn't do transportation? Or was that, am I making that up?
Oh.
They referred to the way they were talking to Rogar, and Zamru informed him that they could not traverse planes, essentially. That's what they were alluding to. They couldn't get back home from within this place.
Then yes, I am fine with the dimension door idea.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll try and
Rogar,
jump.
Velree, just remember you have the antidote if you need.
Oh, so got lucky.
So Tristan and Zune are going
That's
to
true.
dimension door Moog and Rogar.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you guys just cross off a slot easily enough. You guys kind of, each of you put a hand on whoever you're taking. Within a moment, there's a rift.
This is my first time.
As all of you are
Start throwing up like Geralt.
As all of you are kind of ripped forward. Both of you, both Tristan and Zune, both seeing the eyes and tendrils of something on the other side as you pass briefly between dimensions.
Do Mogar see him?
Rogar and Moog, yes, you guys would see them as well as you pass through.
Okay.
However, you are not in a place right now heavily influenced by the Eldritch, and you appear to have not caught their gaze as of yet, as the key in the gate is always watching. And Velree, go ahead and make your athletics check. You're not raging, so not an advantage. However, you do have that weird ability.
I'm gonna use lucky.
Okay.
And it's also within 10 minutes. Does it still have the Bardic Inspiration? Has it been more than 10 minutes since our last encounter?
I'll let you use a Bardic Inspiration. That's fine.
Yay.
That's also a good question.
Yes. What's a good question?
The Bardic Inspiration. But you said I had the ability.
You have an ability, and it's specifically for jumping, if I remember correctly.
Yes, it is. When you jump, you can make a strength effort. Wait, I just did that. And extend your jump by a number of feet equal to the check's total. You can make the special check only once per turn.
So hold on. Read it one more time, because I think what it says is you roll an athletics check and then add it to it. My God!
You add whatever you roll. I think you add that.
Holy shit! Go ahead and make another athletics check. I don't think you're going to need inspiration for this if that's the case.
Does she do it flat-footed or a running start?
I think she can do
Depends
it.
if she wants to.
Yeah.
It's easier if you do a running start.
Yeah, if you do a long jump, it's easier.
15.
But flat-footed is cool.
So I can tell you, even without inspiration, that's a 25-foot jump that Velree just
soars through the middle.
You take about 10 steps and you just like fly through the center of the tunnel and land on the other side, no problem. Don't dip into the flowers. You don't touch the edges, and she's made it no issue whatsoever.
Cool.
The Gith kind of look back and they look, well, if you want to make an insight check, you can, but otherwise.
I do.
Go ahead and make an insight check, fella. Yeah, you can make an insight check too soon. Why not?
That's the Bride of Sand.
Not very good, guys. They're hard to read. Mostly because they are alien to all of you in some way, shape, or form.
I have a passive 15 insight. Does that do anything?
It doesn't do anything. I'm sorry, Trist.
I was
So-
going to be impressed, but I'm afraid there's.
You don't know. You don't know.
Okay.
It's hard to tell. All right.
18.
Definitely not. Sorry, Zoom.
Oh.
I already
okay.
rolled for him.
Too
rolled.
alien.
Too early. They don't have a very good deception. They just rolled really well. So yeah. All right. At this point, the path splits. It splits into. It's kind of like you come to like a T intersection. However, it's not like a flat. It looks like they both curve in the same direction. Both of the cutoffs. Zamru kind of steps up because the warriors stop. Zamru steps up and she moves forward, and she is going to reach her hand out. And she kind of like closes her eyes, begins to focus, and her hand drifts to the right. And she says something in her language to the rest of them, and they begin to move to the right.
To the right.
I'm assuming the rest of you are following them.
Yeah, we're probably going to move to the right.
Good thing you guys saved the gift. That's all I can say. Saving you guys a lot of trouble here, and that could have led up to what was going to happen.
Remember, we like to save people so they can die later.
Yes, indeed. So as you guys begin to move forward, Trist, you pick it up because the warriors do not. Neither does Zamru. Trist, you hear movement ahead. It doesn't seem like it's too far, and you guys are in still another like 20 by 20 tunnel with chalked doorways full of the vines and roots that you guys have seen previously. Same setup. It's actually tending to get a little more thick on the ground, a little more uneven as you guys are moving. But you hear some kind of movement up ahead, Trist.
We go into stealth mode.
Are you going to say anything, or are you just going to...
I would at least tell Rogar, because I assume we're like next to each other.
Yeah.
And then I assume the gift are like farther ahead. Maybe.
They're slightly ahead, yes.
Or whispers in Draconic to them,
Zamru.
something's ahead.
And she reaches out, and one of the warriors kind of like nudges forward a little bit. He's like, and he looks back, and they all stop. And why don't you guys give me stealth checks?
No.
The knights and stuff are going to make stealth checks too. I'm rolling so fucking high for them. It's crazy.
Ooh, that's a pretty good average.
That's a pretty good average, isn't it, Trist?
It is. I love the average.
You love the average,
The
don't
law
you?
of averages is
Okay. So that
Always
everybody got well above a 20 except for Tristan Varel.
Yes.
With his 8 stealth.
rude.
Okay, I'll tell you what's going to happen.
That's
It's
like
gonna,
an 18 average.
It's going to depend on your decisions here of what's going to happen, because I need to roll for them. Okay. So up ahead, the path begins to slightly open a little bit. The tunnel system, the tunnel that you're in, the hallway, begins to kind of open up, and it looks like some of the floor has kind of like fallen away, kind of like sunken down, and then it looks like it opens up again, almost as if there's a large, not really a pit, but just like a large dip in the tunnel, as if something has given away structurally in the bottom of it. And it dips down another 15 feet or so into this large dip. And the warriors kind of begin to scout forward a little bit. Oh, damn it, we lost Andrea. We'll see if she comes back. We'll see.
It was frozen and it wasn't blinking,
I
and it
know.
was terrifying me.
I know. I loved it. I loved every second of it. I was like, I wonder if she can hear me or not. It's fine. Regardless, though, as you guys begin to move towards this kind of dip in the tunnel, you look down and one of you, probably Rogar, one of you, goes up to see this as well. That within the dip, you see 8 humanoid-sized creatures, heavily riddled with flowers. They appear to be heavily infected with the Red Death. Their fingers have elongated. Moog, you've seen similar infection. The infection that took your, you called her evil grandma, I believe, your aunt, that had succumbed to a greater degree than the rest of the individuals you'd seen back in town.
All I'm saying is that all of my favorite aunts when I was a kid made me chocolate chip cookies, not eating my friends. So evil grandma.
Yes, you saw a similar amount of infection on her as you do in these individuals. 5 of them are they're like claws have grown longer than a normal person should be. They kind of look like Velree when she's raged. And their mouths have distended and kind of opened up more, and their teeth have turned into fangs. And they have budding flowers all over parts of their bodies. Their eyes are leaking like a black, almost red fluid, and they look heavily infected and influenced. 3 of them, unlike those 3 of them look somewhat bloated, like their bodies are like weeping fluid from pores all over them. That's from their kind of tattered clothing. And there is like as one of them kind of shifts, there's a subtle like poof of almost like spores that kind of like shoots out of its body. There are 8 of them. So there's 8 creatures down below. It looks like you have to pass through this way to move forward. With your guys' stealth check, they do not notice you as of yet. They appear to be moving in the direction you guys are coming from. So they appear to be moving towards you. They're slow, methodical, but kind of like it's taking them time to try to climb the subtle grade to get back up in the tunnel where you guys are above. What would you
guys like a 15-foot drop though, right?
It's not, so it's just like at the bottom point it'd be 15 feet. It's more like a dip because of all the growth on it. It's not like a flat drop. It's more of like a decline and then a incline, like a bump in the road almost.
A dip in the road.
Yeah, dip.
Okay. And then the sides of the tunnel are fine, right?
Yeah, the sides in the ceiling, kind of the circular shape, it all looks fine. It's obviously heavily overgrown with this root system, but yes, those appear to be intact.
And the other guys, they just did their little, what they do to cross over in time. And
they have not done that yet. They've all kind of stopped.
Oh, okay.
How do you guys want to approach this situation?
I say we avoid the situation, try to circumvent them.
Okay, how are you going to do so?
Is there enough cover for us to just kind of stealth to the side of them, or is it just like they're like, is this tunnel so tight that
it's a 20 by it's 20 feet wide.
Okay. So it's not super big, I guess.
It's not super big. You could try to stumble across the sides and see if they didn't see you. Right now they don't see you. They are moving in your direction though.
Rogar, well, if that's the case, that's pretty tight cord. I feel like there's no other objects or.
Let me get Trist to give me an investigation check, since he's usually on the lookout for stuff like this.
21.
Trist, I'll say this: with the 21. You're looking around. You do see 2 corridors, one on each side, at the top of this dip here, that while they're not passable, there is a recess enough that maybe 2 people could probably fit in each recess to hide, if you were going to hide. It'd be like the opening to a room, but it's so overgrown within that you can't pass into the room. But there's enough of an opening for you to like kind of move into the doorway, essentially, to be out of direct line of sight.
Ooh, that's not a lot
Like
of people, though.
2 people at a time go on the side and like go forward, like just creeping around them type situation.
No, this would be more of a hide in the alcove and wait for them to pass situation.
Okay.
There's only enough space for 4 total, 2 on each side. That's the maximum amount of people you'll be able to fit.
Well, everyone else could go do that, and I can just crawl on the ceiling still. Fine.
You could do that. The warriors can just move past them without making noise if need be.
Great.
If that's what you guys want to do.
I guess we'll try that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Zamru kind of looks back and she nods her head in agreement that this is probably a good plan. And her warriors are going to fold time for the last time that they're capable of doing today, as they jump ahead and they appear behind the group as they're beginning to stumble up. Velree, I'll say that you've already taken your position on the ceiling. The rest of you, how are you guys splitting up 2 and 2? Who's with who?
I assume Moog is with one caster and I'm with the other.
Yes.
Okay. So we'll go. I guess we'll go Trist, Rogar, Moog, and Zune.
Yeah, Moog will protect Zoom.
Okay. So with
We're
that,
about half my size.
with that, I will need a new set of stealth rolls for the party, please.
A new
Sorry.
stealth average coming right up.
And it's not an average, guys.
New stealth average.
Oh, not an average.
Well,
All right.
Well,
I don't know if I can roll
I
any
will,
better.
for one, will advocate for the average.
We'll see how it goes. Can you roll, Zune? Or you need me to roll it? Okay, you got it. Okay, let me roll for them. Okay. As you guys are moving, as you guys move to your alcoves quickly, it looks like Moog and Trist both at the last second move into their alcoves as the creatures begin to, and you're not sure if they saw you or not. Each of you are like, oh shit. And you kind of like fold back as best you can against the wall. As the first creatures to top it are the 5 ones with the long elongated talons and the serrated teeth. Begin to stumble over the top of the ridge and kind of, and you can see that there's like these disgusting growths. You see it even more vividly now. Distended veins in what little flesh is still kind of held together in their bodies. They kind of stumble around. The more bloated ones come up behind them and kind of like, almost like the blueberry chick and Willy Wonka. They're kind of like, we're kind of like over inflated. So I mean the flesh is ripping and spores are just spewing out of them within like a small radius around their bodies as they stumble forward. One of them kind of stumbles towards where Moog and Zune are currently recessed, and it kind of like and it just keeps moving forward. And you guys are not seen as they pass by. After a few moments pass, the patrol is avoided, and the knights are seen up just slightly ahead. It looks like they were waiting to see what was going to happen. Not sure if they were going to leave you, or if they might have helped. Who knows? But you managed to avoid the patrol and move forward. You move through the dip And as you continue forward, not
I'm
very.
gonna stay on the ceiling. I'm just gonna keep.
Why not? Velree stays on the ceiling. Velree, the tunnel you're in, I say tunnel. It's basically supposed to be a hallway. Begins to widen. You see that at the end there's an end in sight, and it widens even further. And it goes from like a 20-foot radius to a 30-foot and then a 40-foot radius at the edge of this opening. And ahead, you guys can see strangely lit. There's a dull. You guys have been seeing dull flickers of this. These almost like firefly like lights that kind of like come into being for a moment. Most of you're mostly relying on your dark vision to see. However, with just a little bit of ambient light ahead at the edge of the tunnel, you see that the next room ahead actually has some kind of lighting in place. And as you move forward, you see that there are they look kind of like tubes along the floors that have been overgrown with vines, but yet they're still emitting light. And it's a strange kind of purplish light that illuminates the area as you move forward. And as you step to the precipice of this next, the kind of doorway here, Velree, across the ceiling, the knights step in, and they look up and around, and you guys are in a gargantuan room. The roof is so tall that none of you can see the top, including Zune, with 120 feet of vision. You can't see the top of it. You can't see the walls on the sides either. You can see the wall behind you as you cascade over, but Velree, as you walk out and over, there is nothing for you to walk across at this point. However, what you do see is in front of you, you see and Velree, from your point of view, you get a better look than the rest of them. You see what can only be described as a cargo bay, full of these large, gargantuan, overgrown crates and glass containers that line a almost like maze-like structure that reaches far, far out, much farther than you can actually see with your natural dark vision. Because while there's illumination on the ground, it is obscured above the stacked crates, because they're stacked very tall. They're stacked somewhere around 60 to 80 feet tall. There are different, almost like the equivalent of like a cargo, like shipping containers. There's things like that kind of in strange shapes, all of them thickly overgrown with these kind of red death, kind of like roots systems. The Gith begin to talk to themselves and then begin to move forward. What are the rest of you doing?
How long does it take, Zune, how long does it take for your etherealness spell to come back into effect? Is it active? Like, can you use it again? It's
a 1 day.
Etherealness? It's once a day, and I used it yesterday, and then I took a rest. I could use it again today.
Could use it again.
We each got a potion. I looked for it. I put down oil of etherealness because I didn't see a potion.
Yeah.
Everyone has an oil of etherealness currently.
Mm-hmm.
It lasts for an hour.
It does.
I don't know. Does the air of this place seem heavier?
What do you mean? What do you mean, Rogar?
There's a different vibe in this room.
Yeah, is there a vibe? What's the vibe in the room? You know,
the vibe. Well, first off, might be slightly. What's the word?
Ominous.
Ominous would be a good word. In addition to that, very bizarre and alien because the containers aren't shaped like normal containers that any of you have seen before. They're at weird angles, and there is glass cylinders in some spaces lining parts here that none of you have probably seen, like curved glass like this large. That wouldn't be there. Like the most you would see might be like a vial, maybe a cup if you go to a fancy place. You know, a small bottle maybe, but for the most part, this is like alien, bizarre shit happening. So who knows what else might be happening should you traverse the ethereal plane?
Do any of these cargo items appear to be broken?
It's go ahead and give me an investigation check.
8.
You can give me one too, Trist.
Okay.
That's your thing.
Oh shit!
That's 20 for Trist.
I blew it.
You did. You blew it. I love it. I love that you blew it on
I only get one a month.
You only get one a month.
Sorry, my phone keeps overheating.
It's fine. Don't you?
Oh, did Trish just nail it?
I mean, he destroyed it. But I'll let me roll for you real fast.
Zoom might get one too.
And you never know. You never know. I'll roll it for you real fast because I got your sheet pulled up. It's not a big deal.
Cool.
22 for you. Almost a natural 20.
Awesome.
So, what? So Zune, you begin to kind of like focus in on some of these structures. What specifically were you looking for, Zune?
I was looking for any of these that look like they've been broken, basically outward.
At where you're at currently, they do not. Nothing looks. The containers look like they are intact where you are at. However, they're so heavily overgrown, it's hard to tell what if they were broken. It would be very difficult to discern if it would be difficult to discern unless it was fresh. Does that make sense? Because it looks like the vines have been growing here for so long. If they were broken years ago, it could be overgrown by now, and it would be almost impossible to see. However, should you guys move forward where the Gith are walking, it then comes into view that you see some of the glass tubes, and it looks like here at the beginning there are in fact 6 of these large glass tubes that look like they are shattered, relatively recently, in fact, as there's almost little growth into the tubes themselves. But it looks like there's growth from where the glass once was that has previously been shattered at this point. And and you see several tendrils just kind of swaying.
How big are these tubes? Could they house people?
They could easily fit a humanoid-sized creature inside them, yes. With Trist's natural 20 investigation check, Trist, you see almost like what would I call this? Almost like a patch of like flesh and fluid that looks like it's been serrated on some of the glass pieces. And as you look at it, it looks familiar. And it looks eerily similar to the creatures that you guys burned not too long ago. As if perhaps this is where they came from.
Oh boy, there's more of those. There's 6 tubes and 6 of the things we fought?
Yes.
Okay, so I can probably assume that we killed them all. So this is a cargo bay / like testing chamber?
I mean, this would be super alien to you, even to you, Trist.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell what is what.
Gosh. Well, I sense an ominous presence in this room. I'm going to take my little orb.
Okay.
my little orb thing that I can do and put a little spell in it.
Okay.
And it lasts for an hour, so I will give it to Velree.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to give her the haste spell.
Okay. Frist uses some of the spellcraft and he condenses it with the aid of his pocket watch, and he's able to create a small bead of a condensed haste. He hands it to you, Velree. Okay.
And I guess we're still following the gifts.
Okay.
Because they're still moving.
They are. They're moving. They look like they have somewhat slowed, but they're still moving ahead, and they begin to maneuver through this maze of cargo. And it does quite become maze-like in its structure.
Are they going stealthily?
They're not at a full stealth, but they look like they're not running. It's more like a normal pace.
Doesn't seem to be a focus of the plant growth in here, does there? Like,
as you are
okay.
as you are moving forward,
Mhm.
it begins to get thicker. The
Okay.
deeper you get. As you keep continuing forward, I'll let your guys' investigation stand for this, Tristan Zune. The GIF keep moving very, very quickly, almost like they don't need any rest. They seem like whatever they've been seeking in this mission that they have been on for a long time is almost at their fingertips, and they are moving at a very fast pace. The rest of you, as you're moving forward, I'll say that after about 30 minutes pass, as you guys are maneuvering these corridors, there's several times that one of the warriors, they'll even split. All three of them will split for a moment at certain intersections, and then they'll come back, and then they will converge on a single path, easily scouting ahead and manipulating your maze that you would have been walking through as you begin to move forward. And after about a half hour passes, you start to notice things, both Zune and Trist. First off, there's been several times that you've come across similar tubes as you guys are moving forward. Most of them appear to have been broken. Some of them are much larger, some of them smaller. Some of them are huge, like could hold a giant inside of them. Some of them are intact, but they're hard, but you can't see through to them because of the thick growth on them. You see several crates that look like they've been long destroyed. Some of them that look pristine with no growth on them, which is odd in and of itself. But as you keep powering forward, you come to a point where it looks like you're approaching possibly the end of whatever this maze is, and it looks like it's going to open up ahead. The Gith begin to slow themselves and begin to take more of a secretive approach. And as you guys are moving down this last stretch, you see this stretch is lined with only the large cylinder tubes, and they're all large. They would be considered large tubes, lining stacked on top of each other. Most of them are overgrown towards the tops that you can't see. On the bottom, however, you start to notice a strange trend. As you are walking forward, you see that some of them are broken and smashed and look like they have long ago been destroyed because there is large amounts of plant growth on the inside of them. Some of them are intact. However, there are just mounds of something, and it looks like there is growth, like the Red Death spores coming off of whatever is inside. There are slight cracks in some of the glass where it hasn't quite broken, but it was enough for maybe spores or something to get through. Then you come to what can only be described as a series of skeletons that are bizarre in nature because they look like a floating, like a skull, like a large skull with 10 bone-like appendages that end in mouths. They look like they might be the skeletons of the creatures that you had previously slain, the gardeners. And they are in these tubes, long dead, preserved almost. You move a bit further, and you find what can only be described as one of these creatures. However, its body has been split in half, and it's been long dead and decayed. And instead of mouths on the end of its stalks, there are eyes, long and crusted over and dead, whatever this creature was. Different, but similar. You find another one and another one. Whatever was happening here in this cargo hold, someone was collecting things. Who knows for what purpose? And as you move just a bit further, the Gith actually stop in their tracks for a moment. And they turn, and you see that there are several large chambers. And you see Zamru's kind of fists clench. And as you get close, you see that there are chambers full of long dead Gith, like mummified together inside several of these tubes. They've been dead for who knows how long. Just the shapes of their heads and their ears are what kind of give them way to what they previously were. Wearing scraps of clothing that have long since fallen to pieces. And then the maze ends. The Gith, however, turn back towards the party, and then they whisper to each other. And Zamru and the knights hunch down and take like almost like a, not really a runner stance, almost like a jumping stance. And they jump straight up in the air, all of them. You hear them, they fly up into the darkness, and then you hear the clatter of their feet on some of the cylinders up high, out of view. The opening is before you to the large chamber. What are you guys going to do?
Well, they didn't say nothing to Rogar, they just dipped out.
They just jumped up and they were disappeared.
Guess we're officially bait. That's nice. Okay. So can we see the other end of the room at all? Are we like right and smack dab in the middle of it, as far as we can tell?
So are you guys moving to the edge to see into the room ahead? Tris says yes. So we're going to go ahead and do this. Let me go ahead and read to you what you see then.
Rip off the Band-Aid.
Okay, as you guys move forward, you see a gargantuan room that is somewhat better lit than what the maze you've been walking through, mostly because of the strange pools of light around this. I mean, it's an wide open space. Once again, you can't see the ceiling. It's too high to see the full ceiling. However, you can see the end now. You've been walking through the cargo hold and you've reached the edge. You've reached the end. The end is somewhere about, Zune could easily see it with his dark vision, but the rest of you can even see the end just because of some of the more ambient light in the area now. You see a wall that kind of curves upwards toward where the ceiling possibly is. But despite knowing that you've kind of reached the edge of whatever this is, you see a mass of machinery of unknown alien origin sprouting from the rear wall, with several large tube-like shapes funneling into a large cluster of cylinders on the ground about 100 feet in front of you. And they're like large cylinders. Each cylinder is overgrown with thick red moss and tendrils, as well as the rest of this space. It is just covered in growth. A large orb is suspended within the air above the cylinders. It appears to be metallic, with several strange rings encircling it at different angles, with a large spinning flat disc further above that, an additional 20 feet, that is just kind of slowly rotating. Above the disc, it appears to be tethered to the ceiling by several thin, tapered, web-like appendages that merge into a single strand that are not actually all touching. They appear to just be floating together. Neither are they touching the disc. All of this appears to be floating in the open space above these cylinders, almost like a giant's mobile with no strings. Just below the orb is a very large pool of white and gray glowing light, slowly pulsing bright, held above the cylinders in some kind of bowl. And that's what you see ahead.
Do we see a clown dancing in the middle?
It's funny you say that, too. Because you all hear a voice at this point.
No.
Oh, the monologue.
I knew they would come. I knew eventually someone would come for me. All of you fiends trespassing. But you have brought something. I smell it. I feel it. You have brought the last piece I need. I will take it from your corpses. However, I need not do so myself.
As above the spinning disc, a shape begins to emerge. As you see it come into view, it appears to be a large skull with a singular eye. The iris is glowing with pink ethereal light. And there are 10 similar pink orbs floating around the skull itself. Its gargantuan jaw with massive sharp teeth moving as this thing is speaking, and you are hearing it whisper into your ears. As Morculus might have another name, Morculus the Death Tyrant. And that's where we're going to take our first break.